News. ABC 7 Eyewitness News at 7 starts streaming now.
On this hour of Eyewitness News, the investigation into a deadly building collapse on the city's south side. Neighbors on what they felt the moment that building started to crumble.
Mayor Lightfoot responding to campaign criticism after an aide emails CPS teachers looking for help.
Major steps forward into the investigation into classified documents tied to President Biden's time as vice president.
Plus, the Great Chicago Blood Drive comes to an end with incredible results. Thank you for joining us, everybody, on this, what we call Friday Eve. Thankful Thursday, of course. I'm Cheryl Burton.
I'm Rob Elgis.
But first, everybody, let's talk about Chicago's mayoral race. Mayor Lori Lightfoot saying a campaign staffer made a mistake when they sent emails asking CPS teachers to encourage students to work for the mayor's campaign.
Challengers already seizing on this mistake. Political reporter Craig Wall has more.
Mayor Lori Lightfoot trying to downplay the action by her deputy campaign manager, calling it a mistake without any nefarious intent or coercion on the young woman's part. Tonight, the mayor is trying to quell the fallout. Mayor Lori Lightfoot in damage control mode after a young woman on her campaign team crossed ethical lines in trying to recruit student volunteers from not only CPS, but also from Chicago City colleges. The mayor said she first learned about it Wednesday afternoon.
A mistake was made. It's real clear that that should never have happened, and we are doing everything we can to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Lightfoot's rivals were quick to criticize the mistake. Now the CPS Inspector General and the Chicago Inspector General are looking into the matter. So will the Chicago Board of Ethics.
Ultimately, the buck stops with the mayor's office. And, I think there's just been a pattern of using government institutions to advance a political agenda.
It doesn't take a ethics professor to tell that this is something that's wrong, something that you should not do in elective politics here in the city of Chicago or anywhere else in the country.
Lightfoot said her staffer was well-intentioned and is now mortified by her mistake, but she will not be fired.
I have a lot of young women that work for me, certainly in my political campaign, but also in my administration. I think this is an important teachable moment for them. It's not lost on me that I'm a role model to young women across the city.
Lightfoot said her campaign will cooperate with all investigations. She tried to downplay the possible impact this may have on her campaign with less than 7 weeks until the election.
Well, I'm not happy that this happened, obviously. As I said, I pride myself on upholding a very high standard of ethics.
Now, several aldermen tonight are calling for a joint meeting of the City Council's committees on ethics and education to look into this situation. And though the mayor is trying to get ahead of this campaign problem, the investigations that will be coming in the political fodder for her rivals will be just that in the days and weeks ahead. Back to you.
All right, Craig, thank you for that. Now, the mayoral election, it is just a few weeks away.
As Craig just mentioned, this mistake will likely be a major talking point for days, maybe even weeks. Let's bring in our political analyst, Laura Washington. Laura, it's great to see you on the 7. Hi.
You too. How you doing?
Hey, we're great. Just right off the bat, how does a mistake like this happen?
Well, that's one of the big questions that I think remains. This was a deputy campaign manager. It wasn't an intern. It wasn't a lower level employee. And this person had authority. And you would think a decision like this would not be made by one individual. You would think that there would be a process, a policy in place to review these kinds of activities. And if you want to believe what the mayor said today, apparently that wasn't the case.
So, Laura, nothing happens without the candidate's knowledge. That is the word on the street. So we talked about how this could have happened, but could she have known about it or could she have not known about it?
Well, if she knew about it and she said today that she did not, she's in trouble, because if that is true, the truth will come out. Should she have known about it? I would think certainly so. That's what happened in that activity was basically reaching out to another public agency. I worked in the mayor's office many years ago. If you reach out to other agencies, sister agencies, to help, especially if you're coming out of the campaign, that's the kind of information that should be shared with the candidate or with somebody very high up in the campaign. She seems to imply that this woman did this alone. That raises a lot of questions.
Do you think we'll see communication, whether it's email or phone records? I mean, I got to think we're going to find out more about this mistake the mayor says happened.
We always do find out more, don't we? I think that there's going to be an as Craig reported, there's going to be several investigations, and they're probably going to be looking not just at CPS and city colleges. They're going to be looking to see what other communications were made with other city and government agencies. So I think the investigators are going to do a really thorough job of trying to get to the bottom of this, and even more important, to make sure that this kind of thing never happens again by recommending policies and practices to prevent it.
Now, let's talk about this in a bigger picture. How will it affect the race, and will it be a really huge factor come Election Day?
I'm not sure how much of a factor it will be by Election Day, but it's certainly not going to go away. The mayor did the right thing by apologizing and saying it was wrong and it would never happen again. But the investigations are going to continue. Her opponents are going to continue to beat up on her about it. And this issue will stay alive for several weeks at least. It's a huge distraction for the campaign at a time when she wants to be building momentum and making her case. And particularly it's a wound for her because it comes at a time when she's presenting herself as being the ethical, reform-minded, progressive candidate, particularly to her progressive base. And this raises questions about whether or not that's the case.
Laura, what candidates are on your radar? Who do you think we watch going into this final stretch?
Well, I think that if you want to believe the polls, and also when you think about name recognition and visibility, I would say it would be Jesus Chuy Garcia and Paul Vallis. They are best known, they are well known and been around in government for a long time. They are doing well in the polls. When you've got just 7 weeks left in the campaign, it's going to be very difficult for some of the lesser known candidates and lesser resource candidates to be able to gain steam. So those are the folks that I'm watching right now.
And with that said, Laura, we've got the debate here on ABC 7 just 1 week from today. Will this be an effective tool in the debate process, and what should we expect?
I think that the debate is going to be very important because people, frankly, have not been paying very close attention to the campaigns. They've seen the commercials, but they may not be that familiar with the candidates. So this will be an opportunity for the candidates to introduce themselves at a very crucial moment. This issue that we discussed earlier about the emails, this is bound to come up during the debate, and the mayor is going to be put on the defensive about this issue and maybe others as well.
Come on down. We got a front row seat for you. You're always welcome here.
I can't wait.
Yeah, it's great to see you again, and Happy New Year. I haven't seen you in a while. So Laura Washington, our political analyst, spending some time with us, answering some good questions.
Right, always fantastic insight from Laura, of course, and we're glad she's part of our team. And we want to remind you, everybody, that we will be hosting a debate between all 9 candidates in the race for Chicago mayor. It is set to take place next Thursday, 1 week from today, January 19th at 7:00 p.m. You can watch it live right here on our stream team on channel 7.2, as well as all streaming platforms. And then the debate will be rebroadcast on ABC 7 on Sunday on January 22nd. That will begin at 10:30 at night.
Following breaking news out of the Roseland neighborhood, police investigating a shooting inside a business. This happened near 110th in Michigan. Police say a 23-year-old man was inside the business when someone shot him. The victim now in critical condition. Police have not announced any arrests. Today in Washington, Attorney General Merrick Garland announced an independent special counsel to oversee the investigation into those classified files found at President Biden's former office and home. This is a significant escalation in the Justice Department's handling on the investigation. ABC's Elizabeth Scholze reports from Washington.
In an extraordinary move, Attorney General Merrick Garland appointing a special counsel to oversee an investigation into 3 separate instances of classified documents found at President Biden's home and former office.
This appointment underscores for the public the department's commitment to both independence and accountability in particularly sensitive matters.
Garland announcing former U.S. Attorney for the District of Maryland, Robert Hur, will oversee the probe. Hur worked with the Justice Department under former President Trump.
I am confident that Mr. Hur will carry out his responsibility in an even-handed and urgent manner.
Garland says Biden's lawyers discovered a second batch of classified documents in the garage of the president's home in Delaware. Then today, the president's lawyer contacted the Justice Department to report another classified document had been found elsewhere in Biden's Wilmington home. An initial set of 10 classified files was found in November at the president's former private office in Washington. Sources tell ABC News the documents date from Biden's time as vice president, some marked top secret.
People know I take classified documents and classified material seriously.
Both President Biden and former President Trump are now subject to special counsel investigations over the potential mishandling of classified documents. But Trump repeatedly resisted turning over hundreds of classified files he allegedly brought to his Mar-a-Lago estate. Trump also refused to comply with a subpoena, prompting a court to issue a warrant for the FBI to seize them from his home.
The White House says it's confident that the special counsel's review will show that the documents were inadvertently misplaced and that the president and his lawyers acted promptly upon the discovery of this mistake. Elizabeth Schulze, ABC News, Washington.
All right, Elizabeth, thank you for that. Now back here in Chicago, what a difference a day makes. 24 hours in the city. Because yesterday at this time, it was still in the 50s, I do believe.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
This is still above average, though.
I know. We're not complaining because we're in the throes of winter in the middle of January.
Right.
You know what that means. It could be the Polar Express.
Yeah, and we've been lucky. What's up? Hey, Greg's here with us today.
Hi, guys. Yeah,
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. If you guys had asked me in like August if I would take a 37-degree day in Chicago in January, take it, right? Like absolutely 37 degrees, sure. But here we are complaining because we've been spoiled so far this winter with 50s like we had yesterday. And we are indeed sitting at 37 degrees right now. Satellite and radar showing a little bit of a change, right? As that system pulled through, it drew in some cold air behind it. Winds kind of out of the north to northwest right now. That's producing some lake effect rain / a little bit of snow in northwest Indiana. And same type of deal here as you head back into Illinois. Now this is, of course, isn't lake effect, but there's still some energy and moisture in it that's giving some snow showers in Wisconsin where temperatures are below freezing, but it's mostly drizzle mixed in with a couple of raindrops as you get a little bit closer here to Illinois. Now when we take a look at the temperatures, you see very clearly that it's probably mostly on the drizzle side of things right now. Got a lot of 35s, 36s, 37s, some 38s too. Joliet 38 degrees, 37 Naperville, 35 in Yorkville. I'll tell you, as early as like 2 o'clock when I was driving in, it was still raindrops on my windshield when temperatures were in the 40s. But even in the city with 37 at the lakefront, I have seen some snowflakes fly from time to time. There was a period during the early afternoon where there were some snowflakes. So still seeing mostly drizzle, but we switch over to bursts of snow, mainly lake effect, by about 11 o'clock tonight. Shortly after midnight, there's a better chance for some snowfall too as we get some backup moisture being pushed in, and that could keep snow through the early morning drive, especially in northwestern Indiana, perhaps in the city. We're going to have to dig into the details a little bit more of that, and our temperatures do drop off back to about freezing, but still, even tomorrow afternoon, 31 degrees is at or even above normal for some spots in the viewing area, so we will keep on taking it. Rob?
Yeah, Greg, see you in a few minutes for the full forecast. Tonight, investigation underway following this building collapse that killed a construction worker. There are questions tonight about whether this work should have been happening in the first place. Our Evelyn Holmes reports from the Bronzeville neighborhood.
Crews spent most of the afternoon securing the property, only to begin this evening demolishing those parts that are damaged.
You can see the wall collapse onto the workers.
Neighbors say their worst fears were realized Thursday morning when part of a building being renovated collapsed, killing a worker. It happened on the city's south side around 11 on a vacant side of 2 attached townhomes located in the 700 block of East Oakwood Boulevard in the city's Bronzeville neighborhood. This man, who lives next door and wants to remain anonymous, says his wife was home when it happened.
She felt a rumbling in the house. It kind of felt like she thought at first it was an earthquake. Then she ran to the window and saw that there was no wall there.
First responders arrived to find one of the 3 construction workers trapped under several feet of brick and building debris. It took 45 minutes for firefighters digging by hand to free the man.
We had approximately 10 members working in the hot zone at a time. We would let them work for a little while and we would rotate them out.
Despite their efforts, the worker later died after being rushed to the University of Chicago Medical Center in grave condition. And while the investigation into what caused the deadly collapse continues, crews work to secure the damaged property.
They probably will not have to demo the other half where a family lives currently, but they will be displaced for some time.
Thankfully, no one else was injured in this collapse. The investigation into what caused the collapse continues. Reporting from Chicago's Bronzeville neighborhood, Evelyn Holmes, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Evelyn, thanks for that update tonight. Firefighters have left the scene of a massive fire at a chemical company in LaSalle. Now attention has turned to the cleanup. People who live nearby say they are dealing with dust particles covering their cars and property. The Environmental Protection Agency telling people the best approach is to use just water to wash away the particles. Investigators are working to determine the cause of the fire. No one was seriously hurt. And right now, there is a community meeting underway to address a plan to house migrants in a vacant elementary school in Chicago's Woodlawn neighborhood. The city says there will be 24/7 on-site security at the old Wadsworth Elementary, and guards will be stationed at every door. The school could be used as a shelter for up to 2 years. Some residents have voiced their concerns about the plan, saying their neighborhood lacks resources for those who already live there.
Friends and family remembering a Chicago couple killed in a horrible crash in Florida. Their car was involved in a 21-car pileup on a foggy Interstate 75 in Columbia, Florida. Maribel Macedo and Armando Gomez Sanchez were celebrating a year's delayed honeymoon in Florida. Macedo worked as a tailor, and she opened a cleaners in Edgewater more than 10 years ago. Eventually, the business expanded and moved across the street. Her loyal customers were also her friends.
It's a loss for the community. Let me just say that. It's a big loss because I think a lot of people, I mean, she grew from a small spot to a big spot, so she had a lot of customers, and she was very loved.
It's been overwhelming, but in a good way. Hearing all of those stories that people have to say, it makes me feel like she's still with me.
Thinking about their family tonight. It's unclear what will happen to that business, and funeral services Saturday open to customers who want to share in celebrating the couple.
Just so heartbreaking. Yeah. Now to a former high school volleyball coach facing child pornography charges. 25-year-old Eula Finland is accused of possessing child pornography and sharing it on social media. He also is charged with the video recording of a victim under the age of 18 years old. District U46 officials say Finland coached at Bartlett High School during the 2021-22 school year and has not been employed by the district since then. Prosecutors say the claims against him are not connected to his work at the school, and the victim was not a student there.
And tonight we're hearing from some of the dozens of Illinois sheriffs who say they won't enforce the state's new ban on assault weapons. The sheriffs of Kane and McHenry County are among them. Law bans the sale and possession of military-style weapons, also requires legal owners to register their assault rifles.
What we will be doing is using this law as another mechanism to charge people with additional crimes who are committing an act of violence or just simply illegally possessing guns.
We won't sacrifice safety, but at the end of the day, we have to do what we believe is right for our own communities.
All sheriffs agree. After responding to the Highland Park mass shooting, the Lake County Sheriff says enforcing the law is what is right for his community. Illinois Rifle Association says it will challenge this law in courts.
Well, just minutes ago, we just wrapped up the 2-day Great Chicago Blood Drive.
I want to thank everyone for donating. Yes. It's been a great 2 days. Yes. We want to check in with Mark Rivera, too, who spent the day in Hyde Park. Thanks for sticking around with us. So we're done. What's going on out there?
Got some great news, right?
You kidding me? Exactly. How could I miss the stream team, right? How could I miss that? 7 o'clock. No way. Exactly. Yes. I'm not going to miss that for my life. Okay, so let's talk about the blood drive. Just wrapped up just a few minutes ago now, and we have seen, we're still waiting for the exact number, but we are very close to breaking the all-time record for units of blood donated during the Great Chicago Blood Drive. Out here at the CSO in Hyde Park, it has been nonstop. People just walking in, coming up, making appointments and everything else. And we have just seen so many inspirational stories about why people are motivated to donate. It has been truly, truly a beautiful day out here. So I can't wait to see those final numbers, but taking a look at all of the people that have come through, as people rolled up their sleeves, we heard those stories, those personal stories of why people have been motivated to donate. And one man that we spoke with wanted to find out his blood type to see if he would be a match for his cousin to donate a kidney. One man's son was a liver transplant recipient who needed blood during and after that operation. And of course, there were first-time donors of all ages, including people like 76-year-old Beverly Bogus, who is giving blood, yes, for the first time today.
If it was me or someone I loved, I would want them to be able to get the blood they needed without any hesitation or red tape or anything, and just donate. And it's also important for other ethnic groups to get involved. I'm African American, very proud of it, but not enough of us donate.
And she was out here today donating, along with, look at this is, Yes, Southpaw, the Chicago White Sox mascot, came out, rolled up his sleeve, got on the table, doing his thing as well. But again, seriously, so many people out here making such a difference. And every single person that we spoke to today, of course, this is the first time that we've been out here with the Great Chicago Blood Drive at the CSO in Hyde Park. Everyone was so grateful that this location was here because it was so convenient for the community. And I heard multiple people tell me when you bring it to the community will show up, and they did today. And I cannot wait again to see those final tallies from all of the locations over 2 days. We definitely smashed what we were going for here at this location. We were trying to go for 100 units of blood, and we got at least, what was that, 130? Was it around 130? 124 just about a half hour ago. So there you go. So we were doing real well.
Awesome. Well, congrats to them out there. Southpaw was a little scared, but he pulled it off.
No, if Southpaw can do it, anybody can do it.
That's what I said earlier, right?
He looked really great. He didn't look nervous at all. He looked very calm, and he knew he was doing a great job for a great cause. And Mark, speaking of that, you've done a wonderful job all day today. The power of the why. What is your why? And the incredible stories you've been sharing, so inspirational, made all the difference. And some people said they saw us on Channel 7, and it encouraged them to come out and
a lot
donate.
of people said that, actually.
So
yeah, definitely.
Such powerful value.
Good stuff,
yeah,
thanks again, Mark.
Love your
Appreciate
red tie, too.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So there we go. We're close. We'll see. We'll probably have the final numbers tonight, hopefully, at 10 on ABC 7. We're close.
We're going to be there. Yeah,
oh, okay, wait, Michelle. So Michelle, our producer, just said we were 100 units short at 6 of our record, and now she's saying, what did she say?
Right, at 7:21.
At 28.
The hour of power. This is the hour of power.
We can get 28. It looked like there might be that many people in line there.
Exactly, and they've got several locations. Oh, we're doing it. I'm claiming it. I'm putting it out there in the universe.
You've been right on your predictions and prognostications.
Nothing but positive vibes on this thankful Thursday.
Well, we got about, 39 more minutes in the show. Groundbreaking Olympian visits a suburban school. That story's ahead.
But first, everybody, tornadoes across the South, and take a look at this damage so far. We've got it coming up for you next on the other side of a break.
In the South, possible tornadoes reported. This video from near Montgomery, Alabama earlier today. At least 18 tornadoes were reported across that state since this morning. Same storm system blamed for significant damage across the South. Look at this in Kentucky. Tin roof was peeled back. In Mississippi, debris from homes is scattered across the ground. More than 100,000 customers across 4 states without power. Nasty weather.
Very powerful storm. Speaking of that, some incredible pictures down south there. We don't have anything like that here, but we did have a drastic or dramatic change in weather overnight. We did enjoy, like you said, Greg. And we want to say thank you to everybody, the blood draw, because the weather was so fantastic, that really played a big role, I think, in how we're going to break that record.
Right.
You honestly couldn't have asked for better weather for us. We skipped out on that whole system that did bring some significant weather to the south. I mean, almost in southern Illinois, some reports of tornadoes back through the Ohio River Valley, and then mostly, of course, as you've seen, in Alabama and portions of Georgia. Look at these clusters of storms. These were likely a couple of cells that kept on producing tornadoes and tornado reports. Now, every single dot you see on here is not a tornado. It's a reported tornado. So a lot of these are the same tornado reported lots of times. And as you saw, that video was so good, you're going to get multiple reports on the same tornado. But tornado reports so far, almost 50 for January. A little bit odd for this time of year. Also a little bit odd, the fact that we are cloudy and still sitting near 40 degrees and not talking about straight up snowfall as moisture arrives in the area. Instead, yet again here in January, it was weird. We're splitting the line and talking about rain mixing over to snowfall, or maybe even staying all rain for some locations, and not even a significant amount of snow either. First, the lay of the land. It is certainly a different world than it was 24 hours ago, as we were sitting at 36 in Chicago now. We were in the upper 40s and lower 50s yesterday at this time. Our 50s are now gone. They're down towards Nashville and even Atlanta, seeing a temperature drop. That's where the front is right now, kind of pushing through Atlanta. You see their wind changing. They're getting that front through the area. They had showers and thunder showers. Thankfully, they were a little bit less severe than they were back towards Mississippi and Alabama. And we're on the tail end of this. And this did skip just off to our south. Look how close the rainfall made it to our viewing area. I mean, just skirting our southern counties, kind of like southern Livingston County into southern Kankakee County. And in the wake of that, because we've got the lake around, we have lake effect snow showers now that the wind is turned out of the north behind that cold front. You can see those going, mixing over a little bit with some drizzle, but we'll check out live Doppler 7 Max because you see it flipping back over there in the last couple of frames. And then out away from the lake, there's also some scattered snow showers, and that's totally something that you cannot rule out here tonight and into early tomorrow. The occasional dusting that's going to go on out in our western counties. But most of the focus you'll see, most of my focus is going to be on northwest Indiana. Our temperature change about a dozen or so degrees from where we were 24 hours ago. That puts most of us in the neighborhood of, but still slightly above freezing. Now it is dropping pretty close. 35 Crystal Lake, 35 in Sycamore. That would be some drizzle switching over to the occasional snowflake for us. And then off in northwest Indiana, those temperatures closer to the lake are in the upper 30s. So I wouldn't be surprised if right at the lakefront it is drizzle, but a little bit farther inland if it changes over to snow. That's what live Doppler 7 Max and the National Weather Service radar out of Romeoville is seeing right now. You see our radar beam here about to make another sweep. Let's see what it has to say. And as it does so, passing over these scattered snow showers, again, I don't think it's going to change very much, as we still need a couple more hours to go until our temperatures drop off. But yes, there is occasional snow, and this is kind of the focal point from about, I would actually put it in the south side. So from the south side to about Whiting, out through Hammond, through Gary to Valparaiso, that's where you're going to see some lake effect snow, or at least accumulations of lake effect snow. Again, accumulations could be on the lighter side for areas that are back out off to the west. Here we go through the overnight and into early tomorrow. Could even still be some snow showers during your early morning drive in northwest Indiana. 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning, totally possible. So I've got Chicago in there, south side of Chicago in northwest Indiana for tomorrow morning, seeing that snow. Everybody else will be, for the most part, dry. But again, there's a chance you see a sporadic dusting. Is it going to affect the roadways? No. Maybe wet roads at the very worst, but we could see 1 to 2 inches of snowfall extending from extreme eastern portions of Cook County, Illinois, into Lake County, Indiana. 2 inches, probably a little bit closer to like Gary or Hammond, I would say, right in the core of that. Then we get some sunshine, but a quiet and chillier day on our Saturday, a high of 40. It's weird to say chilly and 40 as a high temperature, but here we are. Kind of the bar has been set for us as we get back to 60 degrees. On Martin Luther King Jr.
Wait, 60
what?
or 50?
Oh,
50, I'm sorry, did
50.
I say 60?
Yeah.
Oh man,
still
that'd
be awesome.
Yeah, it's still balmy for
still
January.
50 is unreal for this time.
What's the quick question? The beard? Are we keeping the beard?
For as long as they let me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean maybe March.
Yeah, he does this every year, remember?
Oh.
And we've got to get back to what he gave up to last year if he did it again,
Oh, last year it was fried foods.
Fried foods.
Yeah, that was for my birthday. It didn't last very long.
Oh, it was your birthday. Sorry.
We made excuses for him.
We helped him out,
we
but
were
we've
rationalizing certain
That was
foods.
That was April, and it made it until I think about August. And,
Oh, that was good.
That's a few months.
That's
Small
4
changes.
months.
Summer's hard.
I live my life in seasons, not years.
What about your New Year's resolutions? We haven't seen them since the New Year. Have you got anything going that we can to say?
Now, and so this is the year of guitar. Like, I'm going to double down on the efforts of guitar learning. So
that's air guitar,
right?
Yeah, that's air guitar.
Really good.
Yep.
So, you know, piano, 6 chords, 6 strings.
Oh, I can shred on the air guitar. The real guitar, though, when I have to actually make sound.
Your daughters are also taking guitar lessons too, right? Or is their daddy their teacher?
Through me, yeah. It's a poor teacher, but they're not paying.
Learn, though. Yeah,
I know the best way to learn. They can bond, friendship together.
I have
He's a girl dad.
Musician. Yeah. We got to go. I like you without the beard, for the record. You look awesome. Young man, handsome young fella.
Without the beard?
Yes.
You're voting for shave.
Shave.
Did you talk to my wife? Are you guys like colluding?
No.
Okay.
You look great.
Yeah. Thank you.
This is a story that Will Jones was covering for us earlier.
Yeah.
Author and Olympian Ibtihaj Muhammad visiting the Chicago area today, stopping by the Islamic Foundation School in Villa Park.
She is well known for being the first Muslim American woman to wear a hijab while competing at the Olympic Games. She won a bronze in fencing. Now she is also an author. She wrote a children's book called The Kindest Red, a story of hijab and friendship.
I was growing up, I didn't see a lot of picture books that had stories of brown characters, didn't have stories that had characters that wore hijab.
Being a student athlete here, her whole journey and challenges, they were all very relatable, and meeting her was just an honor.
How about that? I mean, just wonderful that, you know, you can be what you see.
I remember when she won that bronze. It was a huge deal for us.
Right.
Yeah, for a lot of reasons.
For the world,
yeah.
actually, because it was
she was
historic. Yeah, and now she has a children's book to understand, and now young people can learn early about the differences in diversity and how it makes such a difference.
Huge difference.
Yeah, wonderful. All right, well, the Royals. Yes, we can't go without a newscast without the Royals.
It's been a while.
And their first public appearance since Prince Harry's explosive book came out. We have that story just ahead.
Also, did you hear Lisa Marie Presley hospitalized tonight? What we've learned about her health.
Tonight, we're following some breaking news in the northwest suburbs. You're looking at a live picture from Chopper 7 HD over a fire in Schaumburg tonight. It broke out at a commercial building on Lunt Avenue near Rodenberg Road. Emergency crews are on the scene right now. As you can see, it's a huge police presence there as well as a fire presence. There are no reports so far of any injuries at this point, but we will keep you updated throughout the hour.
Lisa Marie Presley was rushed to the hospital today. Her mother Priscilla asking people to pray for the Presley family, adding Lisa Marie is receiving, quote, the best care. Paramedics rushed to her California home this morning for a report of a woman in cardiac arrest. Her condition tonight not known. Lisa Marie Presley was just seen at the Golden Globes on Tuesday. She's the only child of Elvis Presley.
Well, members of the British royal family appearing in public today for the first time since Prince Harry's memoir went on sale. The Prince and Princess of Wales, William and Kate, seemed relaxed as they arrived at a hospital, and people shouted questions about the book to them, but they did not respond. And by the way, the sales of Spare have been incredible. Penguin Random House says 1.4 million copies were sold on the first day alone, and that includes hardcover, audiobook, and ebook editions sold right here in the United States, Canada, and the United Kingdom. And Michelle, our producer, of course, has been reading it. And just some information, Michelle Obama's book, Becoming, it took a week to hit that same number and was considered also a huge success.
And Michelle was the first in line, our Michelle producer, at the public library to get the book. She's almost done, right? Three-quarters of the way done.
She said she's at the point where Harry meets Meghan.
Boy, that took a long time in the book.
Right. So, well, he had a life before then. He had a huge life.
Things happened, yeah.
Yeah. He was in his 30s when he met her. So you've done a lot by the time you get in your 30s, right?
Yeah, it was also be in mine wouldn't be 900.
You wouldn't want to share
400 pages. My life story would be like 10 pages, you know?
Just
like the Cliff Notes.
Right. It gets greater later. Is that what you're saying, Rob, in your life?
Yes, thank you.
I like that too. It gets greater later for most of us. All right. Well, this year's Great Chicago Blood Drive, we hope it does.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
It's been a huge success as we draw a heart. A huge success.
This has gotten greater later for sure. Of course, blood donors are always needed. Up next, we're hearing from a mom who's grateful for your donations and learning more about the success of this year's event. Jose's with us again tonight for the back half of the show. We'll be right back. This year's Great Chicago Blood Drive has been a huge success, and thanks to you.
Yeah, thank you in advance to everyone who participated. We topped last year's numbers with hours still left to donate. Of course, we want you to know more about how blood donations are used. So, of course, we're bringing in the expert. Jose Sanders, for the last several weeks, has been working on this amazing project. And so, Jose, talk about the whole process and when you donate and where it goes and how it saves lives.
Well, sure. First of all, you have already claimed that record, so we know we're going to do that. Because why? It gets greater later.
Thank you.
That's it.
Okay. On the hour of power,
On the
no
hour
doubt.
of power, right. The golden hour. But today, we're all seeing red. Blood donors may not realize how impactful one donation can be, especially can bring important to kids who are battling childhood cancer. Ashley Douglas knows all about that. She joins us now. Ashley, blood donations help prepare her daughter for something called acute lymphoblastic leukemia. Is that right? Is that right? Did I say it right? First of all, Ashley, tell me what that is.
Hi. So Blakely was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia. It's one of the most common types of childhood blood cancers. A lot of, people think that cancers are localized in one spot, but unfortunately with blood cancers, it's throughout the entire body. So the treatment actually affects her entire body.
So Blakely needed blood. Kind of walk us through that process and why she needed blood.
So one of the biggest things with leukemia and a lot of childhood cancers and adult cancers, it affects the bone marrow, and the bone marrow really stimulates the production of blood cells. And when it's affected by these childhood cancers, the patients need blood treatment and blood transfusion. So Blakely has had at least 15 blood transfusions throughout her 1.5 years of treatment so far, at the beginning and several times throughout treatment.
She is just a little doll. It's just beautiful. How did she change after a transfusion?
She becomes this bubbly personality, just like her normal self. You can tell when she's kind of down, and after the blood transfusion, she's just back to her bubbly self and running around playing with her big sister and just full of smiles.
She loves the color, loves those popsicles. We know that much. Ashley, you yourself are in healthcare, so you know just how important blood donations really are. So what happens when that blood is not available to us?
It's honestly a very scary thought and process when the blood is not available. Anything from trauma to cancer, patients need blood, and a lot of the times they need more than 1 unit of blood. So when that blood is not available, it becomes very scary, and patients aren't able to receive the care that they need.
Well, we appreciate you sharing your story with us and sharing your baby with us. Best of luck to you, continued success, and give her a hug for us, okay?
Thank you so much. I will.
All right, take care. And once again, thank you for everybody coming out real close. If you're in line, stay in line, because we can still use all the blood that you can donate. It's saving lives, one person at a time, guys.
Yeah, Jose, and you're a special part of that. In fact, one of the donors said he came directly to donate because he saw you on TV yesterday. It is the power of the why, the inspiration, the testimonials that really make a difference. Jose, you've been doing this for the last 3 or 4 weeks. Tell us some of the stories that really moved your soul and your heart.
Well, you know, we talk a lot about the people with who have sickle cell, because that's near and dear to my heart too. I have some relatives who've been going through that, and it's a really painful process, and those stories often don't get told enough. That's why Mark made an excellent point earlier about us being at Hyde Park this time, because so many people on the south side wanted to donate blood, but you know, they had to go to the suburbs or come downtown when we first started about 9 years ago. And being where people are just makes it so much more convenient to them. And also, I've known a couple of people who've been just incapacitated, just in pain, and they need a constant supply of blood. And you don't know what that 1 unit of blood can do for so many people. It's just gratifying to put faces and hearts and stories and lives together. What we can say, give blood, save lives, but until you see the people, until you see the faces, until you hear the stories, it really doesn't really matter that much to you.
We've done a great job sharing those stories, because it matters. You're right.
I mean, and then Jose, we have to say you've just looked amazing, okay,
right?
for the past 2 days.
Keep that on. I saw him in the newsroom today.
Just so fabulous.
I see he walks by my office, our offices, and I'm like, man.
I know, right?
He can pull that off.
Only Jose can pull that off,
I can't pull that off.
Don't try this at home, huh?
You got to represent when you're on the Hour of Power.
Okay, thank you,
It's
Jose.
a full-on suit, and it's fabulous.
Yes,
So,
he's got gym shoes on.
I know,
Okay.
he looks good.
Sure.
He's got my colors on, red and white. You know I'm partial.
Be careful.
Oh, the socks are cute, too.
And stay with us. We've got another Hollywood segment we want to bend your ear on, okay?
Okay.
Cool. All right, we'll see you soon. Up next, The Parent Test. It's a new reality show exploring parenting styles. Meet the host, doctor on the show next. But quick check with Greg. Greg.
Well, and I'm going to tell you, I watched Jose walk out into the hallway, and it's like a soundtrack started up as he walked in. Like, that's how good he looked.
Earth, Wind, and Fire, perhaps.
Guy can pull it off.
All right, so we got 2 different things going on our radar. You see Live Doppler 7 Max out there producing a little bit of snow, or at least observing snow around the radar site as temperatures drop, but still with a warmer Lake Michigan, it's flip-flopping between rain and snow. We'll see exactly what to expect tonight and for tomorrow morning's drive, all coming up after the break.
We want to update breaking news we first talked about earlier in this hour. Out in the northwest suburbs, you are looking at a live picture tonight from Chopper 7 HD over this massive fire in Schaumburg. You can see, though, the smoke billowing. It looks like it's turned to white, which means it sometimes means that the fire is perhaps under control. It is located on Lund Avenue near Rodenberg Road. We have not heard of any injuries so far as of yet, which is good news. And of course, we'll continue to monitor this fire in Schaumburg, and we'll keep you updated with more information as it comes into our newsroom.
Brookings Institution and the National Fair Housing Alliance spending time today focused on racial bias in the home appraisal process. The event included a screening of Our America Lowball, ABC News documentary about possible discrimination in the appraisal process. You can watch that documentary on our website and our streaming apps too.
Well, The Parent Test. It is a new reality show on ABC putting parents under the microscope.
Okay, the idea
really
is,
good.
yeah, is it?
Really good.
So the idea is to find the best style of raising kids in today's world. Show's based on a format that's been a big hit in Australia.
Well, entertainment reporter Sandy Kenyon talking to the stars of the American version.
1, 2, 3, family! The host of a new show says parenting has never been harder.
But which way is the right way?
Allie Wentworth spent years trying to figure out how to parent teenagers.
It's a good time for the parent to start an antidepressant.
The comic's just kidding, but she's talked to Tamron about her daughters and told us how humor helps.
Sometimes they don't listen to, you can't wear that, you can't do that. So I've always used comedy. So if they're wearing something inappropriate, I'll say, oh, so you're a Kardashian now.
Parenting expert Dr. Adolph Brown is the father of 8.
As parents, we guard and we guide.
The idea here is to take a look at various different ways of parenting.
All in search of today's best parenting style.
The 3rd episode of The Parent Test is the most emotional yet.
You have to make us superhuman to endure this world that we're in.
What I noticed about the families, and myself included, was that oftentimes we want to protect them of things that we haven't totally healed from.
And can you give me an example?
I tend to be overprotective. And I tend to be overprotective because my mom and dad divorced after 21 years, and we went from solidly middle class to inner city poverty overnight.
The mix of serious with a sense of fun has already intrigued a serious journalist. George Stephanopoulos is Wentworth's husband.
He's not really a reality TV guy, but he was really gripped to the point where he was shouting at people on the TV.
What do you say to people that say you're too hard on her?
I say, and what about it?
I'm Sandy Kenyon, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
This is just coming in the last few minutes. Breaking news, the Associated Press is reporting Lisa Marie Presley has died at 54 years old. Remember earlier in the show, her mom had said, ask for prayers because she had some sort of cardiac arrest. And now the Associated Press is saying that Lisa Marie Presley has died at 54. We'll get an update on this. It just happened. It was just the Associated Press just reporting.
The daughter of Elvis Presley, and he passed away from a heart attack at 42 years old. And Rob, you remember on Tuesday, we saw her.
Right.
And her mom, just so gracious because the actor who portrayed Elvis Presley had won the Golden Globe. They were very emotional and thankful for his acting portrayal. And they had been on the circuit promoting this movie, talking about Elvis. It's just so sad.
Very unexpected.
Oh, wow.
We'll get more information for you on that when we're back on the air tonight at 10.
Yeah.
So we'll take a quick break here and we'll be right back.
Well, voting has started today for the 95th Oscars.
Time to go. Members select their favorite films and performances from 2022, and anything can happen. So let's bring Jose Sanders back in tonight to talk about this and all things Oscars. It's time to start thinking about who's going to get nominated. Good to see you again.
You too. It's that golden season, Cheryl, right now.
On the golden
it's
hour.
award season. You know, the Screen Actors Guild can be one of the most reliable award shows when it comes to Oscar predictions. The films nominated for the top awards so far, the Best Ensemble are Babylon, Banshees of Inisherin, Everything is Everywhere All at Once, The Fabelman, and Women Talking. But remember, the Best Picture at the Oscars can have more than 5 nominations there. Drama, musical, comedy honors at the Golden Globes for Elvis, Avatar, Way of Water, Top Gun, Maverick, were some of the other films nominated for that. And of course, you know, Wakanda could be nominated too because the category has been expanded in recent years, and the membership of the Academy expanded as well.
I could see that getting a nod
Much
for
more
a
diverse.
nomination. It's that cast, whether it be Angela Bassett, who just won the Golden Globe. There's going to be some nominations.
Yeah, Michelle Yeoh, of course, with Everything All at Once. So, but Jose has interviewed all of these people all in 2022, so he has the insight. And every time he's done an interview, he comes back and says, that person's going to be nominated.
Yeah, who
and that person.
You predict it was like a
Angela
couple
Bassett
years
for sure. For
it was
the
a couple
Oscar.
years ago. He was nominated as Chicago, and you guys are so candid in your conversations. It was a story about the hearing impaired, and he did not win, but you had predicted he might. That was one of the great interviews you've done. He's always putting together these great pieces from Hollywood.
It's so much fun to talk to real people, especially, you know, we find out Chicago actors and actresses are more genuine, and they kind of feel us too, and they give us some good stuff to talk about.
It's hard, but you pull that out of them. I think it's the interviewee that can get the...
and Jose is, they know him.
Yeah,
they call him a friend. They say, that's the first thing in the interview. Hello, friend. How are you doing in Chicago? So, of course, the nominations are also out today. I watched them this morning on television. The NAACP award nominations are out as well.
Those honor the best in TV, movies, music, and more, Jose.
We see a little bit of everything in these nominees for Entertainer of the Year. For example, the nominees are Angela Bassett, Mary J. Blige, Quinta Brunson, Viola Davis, and Zendaya. This is a powerhouse group. Look at that right there. But you know what? I would think right now the heat is with Quinta Brunson, just because she's winning everything she's on stream. But the queen of all things, Miss Angela Bassett has not won anything. And these voters, you know, for Image Awards tend to be a little older too. So I think, and Angela Bassett has not won these major things recently. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm thinking, it might be time to see Miss Bassett up there looking good again.
You have been singing her praises ever since you saw
I can't help it because it's worthy, baby.
I just saw Mary J. Blige on South Beach 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
And her powerhouse show on the beach. I mean, Jose, we putting you on the spot. You got to pick one. Let's go.
One of those?
Yes, for Entertainer of the Year. Don't let Zendaya sleep on you either.
Oh, no, I know.
Okay, because she always wins.
She won everything else. Yeah, but you look. This is the NAACP Image Award. So let's straight. This is going to be Angela Bassett, I think.
Okay. All right.
Angela Bassett.
I want to know more about you and Mary J. hanging out.
Oh, yeah.
It should be if it's not.
Yeah,
it should be a show.
I know, but like a concert, right? That could be a show.
You know, it was a good show.
It was a concert, okay.
Mary J., you know, she started off the year at the Super Bowl, Jose. See, that people don't forget that. Okay, she dropped on her knees in those thigh-high boots. Entertainer of the Year is getting closer and closer.
You got those same boots, Cheryl. I've seen them.
That's what I'm saying.
Don't play.
She knows a lot of people. She knows a lot of people. Earlier I was talking
about... I might go down, but I might not be able to get back up.
We'll help you.
Back up is the problem.
Earlier I was talking about Paul Racy.
He's such a good guy.
What was the name of the
good dude?
Yeah, the young lady from Children of the Lesser God was also Marlee Maitland was also in the movie. She won an award for that as well. What's the name of it, Greg? Okay. All right.
Children over there. Hey, this has been so fun the last 2 days. Producer Michelle all knew you were going to be doing the Great Chicago Blood Drive for us. And then we said, can he stick around? And he said, yes.
Yes.
Will you come back when like any time we can talk Hollywood. When the nominations come out, you got to come back. And then when the winners come out, we got to talk about the
SAG
show.
Awards, the Grammys. Yeah. I mean, the Grammys, Jose, too. I mean, this is the season for the reason.
Okay. You know what? We can just talk about everything. Pop culture.
Okay.
I think you're good for it.
And you look good doing it. So, hey,
thank you.
That's the added bonus.
I tell you, you put the three of us together, we can just talk for an hour about whatever you want. But we got another guy to talk about the weather for us.
Right.
Greg in there.
Greg gave
forget about
too.
it. Yeah.
Greg gave blood this
Add
week.
Greg
so,
to this.
You know, we got to celebrate him too as well.
Yeah. What's up? Good to see you.
Good to be in. Good to be in. Of course, my pleasure to give blood. I got O positive, so they really want that. They really want that stuff
awesome.
from me. So they got me with the power red, which I'd never done before. And to be completely honest with you, so that's where like they take out the blood and they do a double, but they give you back your plasma.
Right.
And, so I've donated whole blood before. I actually felt better despite giving double the red blood cells. Like,
well, they gave you your plasma back,
and
too.
a little,
That's very helpful, and the snacks
and a little
that your daughter picked out for you.
A little saline for the effort. You know, it was like a hangover cure bag. So nursing that.
You know, all the secrets, Greg.
Temperatures early this evening are in about the mid-30s, and there is some drizzle because they are so warm. Again, air quotes on warm, but it's all relative, right? This is warm for us this time of year. 36 in Aurora, 37 in Chesterton, it's 35 out in Crown Point, and immediately off of the lake shore, you're going to see those temperatures kind of hold in the upper 30s to around 40. Lake water temperatures in the upper 30s to lower 40s right now, so that's a good analog for what these shoreline temperatures are going to be with the wind out of the north. Now, what that'll mean is that it'll stick around as some drizzle for a little longer here along the immediate shoreline. And our radar, well, the National Weather Service radar out there in Romeoville, has been flip-flopping these when you're looking at the precipitation type between rain and snow. Totally makes sense given those temperatures. I've actually seen some snowflakes coming off of Lake Michigan in Chicago, so it's going to flip-flop. These are not all rain showers. There's definitely some snow getting mixed in. Those temperatures are kind of borderline. Then our radar, Live Doppler 7 Max out there off to the west, is indeed painting some snow, and that will be the case here as temperatures are about mid to lower 30s there, 34, 35, and that is where you start changing more over to snow than a bit of a drizzle. So with Futurecast, here's that lake effect. We got winds coming out of almost the due north. They jog back and forth just a little bit. That'll occasionally bring some snow into the south side of Chicago. The hours on that, late tonight, early tomorrow. So yes, it may be around for your early morning drive. Thinking about 1 inch to 2 inches in northwest Indiana. And again, that could last through your early morning drive tomorrow. So watch out for that, and slick spots everywhere as your temperatures will be in the lower 30s. Again, 1 to 2 inches northwest Indiana. Can't rule out extreme eastern portions of Cook County just off to the south of Chicago. And as we roll through the next week, temperatures roll back to 50 degrees for the holiday.
One last check on the fire in a commercial area in Schaumburg.
Haven't heard of any injuries more tonight at 10.